Okay, come on. Okay, so the last time we met, we discussed long-term plans. We're going to do a follow-up on the first meeting, and we're going to discuss the primary goal we were looking to achieve, which was, first of all, smooth adoption into a PE coordinator role at your current school, and organising events by the end of November. This in the hope that, in the anticipation that when you do gain teacher qualification status, that this would bolster your application towards working at the current school, because you are currently a TA at the moment.
Yeah, correct.
So we did draw up some plans as to how to achieve this, i.e. meeting with relevant people, and also discussing with PE, the current PE coach who was on site. He was a new PE coach. So how has it gone so far since starting term in September?
Yeah, it's gone well. I've managed to settle into the role quite well. I've worked closely with the PE coach who comes to our school twice a week, and I've had a meeting with someone from West Lancs because I was unsure of where to actually start in terms of booking them in. So that was really good. She helped me. She showed me the timetable, told me what sort of teams I'd require for each
this is towards
event.
the provisional event?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've booked my first event in, which is November.
Right, cool.
For that now, I have to work closely with the coach that comes into school, and we need to get a team together. So we need to look at the strengths and weaknesses of each child and see who would be best placed for this event.
So you went and discussed it with the woman who runs it, runs the events.
Yeah. So she came to our school and she sort of gave me an introduction onto what you need to do to be the PE coordinator, how you need to communicate with West Lancs, what they need to know, what I need to know.
I found that very helpful.
Really helpful. She gave me a login, it showed me the calendar, and basically just taught me through each step. So straight after that, I went back to school and booked in our first event in November.
Oh, great. So you got booked in, and your main objectives, we said, was possibly to sort of get this a regular thing for the school as well. Previously, how many events have you been to?
Last year I went to about 3 events with the teacher who was currently PE coordinator, so I do know sort of what goes on, but I was never involved in creating the team or planning how we were going to get the parents, how I was going to get confirmation from the parents that they could come. So when I get back to school after half term, I've got to send out letters to the parents and let them know. I've got to speak to the the children I'm thinking for the team, and check that they're happy with it, and possibly do some practice actually in the PE lessons before it.
Brilliant. So we'll devise this into a schedule that we'll write down, and send a letter home. Obviously that's compulsory. Other things to do with the actual event. Are there any possible pitfalls or hazards you can foresee, or you?
The only thing, because we're such a small school, lots of the events don't apply to us because they need big teams. So I spoke with the lady from West Lancs regarding this, and she suggested virtual competitions, so we could compete with other small schools on a virtual basis, just to give the children that bit of competition, because to be honest, a lot of times we don't win because we're such a small group and such a small school. So that's one of the things I'm going to try and introduce. It's not been done before, so hopefully that's one of the challenges I can try and get going.
So this PE coordination role was on a probationary period. I'm hoping, and we have discussed this, that this organised event, because you're leading it, would this seal you as a PE coordinator at the school?
Hopefully. When I was first offered the role, my head teacher said, obviously see how you get on with the first few, and if you're enjoying it after the first term, we'll have a look at it. If she thinks that it's going well, if she's happy with what I'm entering the school into, she said she'd be quite happy for me to carry on. So I'm hopefully going to have a catch up with her in January and let her know
Yeah,
what's all
I think
going.
we should seal that in definitely January. What about also meeting with her after the event, giving her feedback? So I presume she won't be going to the event herself.
No, it's just me.
So giving her some feedback, and also maybe possibly getting a reference of maybe, who did you say was her name, Miss Hart or something along those lines?
It was Chris Hart who I saw at West Lancs, yeah.
So maybe getting a reference from her as to how you performed.
How I did, yeah, that's a good idea.
This would hopefully let her offer you the position, which certainly ticks off that first main goal of ours as a PE coordinator, and also will bolster your potential employment there in the school, I think. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, definitely. That's sort of why I've tried to get into it, because there's so many teachers, especially around this area. If you've not got something extra to show, then you're not as willing to get a chance even to get to interview. So if I've got that little bit of extra that I've been working on throughout, well, it'll be 3 years if I keep the role. That's a bit of a bonus for current employers if I go any further into different schools.
Well, I think you appear very confident and very happy with the situation at the moment. Seems like the term's gone well. So I think we should organise a structure towards sending out letters and so on, which we're writing down, and then do our next meeting in February, and hopefully by then, well, you should be settled in as a permanent fixture as a PE coordinator.
Fingers crossed.
And organising further events.
I've already seen quite a few actually in the diary for next year. Yeah, I've booked us into one in February, and another one, I think it was in April, I think. So I've booked 2 more in again. I've not done anything with those yet, but I'll have to do the same again. Choose the teams and liaise with the PE coach to see who she thinks is the best to go and try and get us in at least.
Well, I certainly think that plan of action we did in the first meeting has helped towards steering in the right direction, and looks like you've ticked all the boxes there. So we'll meet up again in February. In between, obviously, if you need to meet up before that, that's not a problem. I'm happy with how it's going. What about you?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Okay, super. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.